I want to say to you, in good old Tobago parlance, let us be a good host, and bad host as they are call you. The question is not who is calling, but how you answer. And tonight, the people of Tobago, knowing what Tobago is, what Tobago will be and could be, you could only answer the People's National Movement's call. Tonight is the night of our 15 standard bearers. And I'm here at the closing of your excellent rally, where you have presented to Tobago 15 persons under the balize to represent the 15 electoral districts of Tobago. I simply want to say, as political leader of the People's National Movement, I am particularly proud of what I saw here tonight. I see a party that is energized, invigorated, and of course, anticipating success. Ladies and gentlemen, it is because we have been so successful that we are being noticed by other aspirants. We are not the only ones who can offer ourselves for service in Tobago. As a matter, we're not the only ones who are doing it. But when you examine what is on offer, all I could say to you tonight, Tobago, especially as I listen to what is being said in other quarters, I want to say to you, in good old Tobago parlance, let us be a good host, and bad host as they are call you. The question is not who is calling, but how you answer. And tonight, the people of Tobago, knowing what Tobago is, what Tobago will be and could be, you could only answer the People's National Movement's call. What impressed me so much with your selection here in Tobago Island Council is the very delicate mix of experience and youth. Of your 15 candidates, you have a tremendous amount of experience still retained in that group, but you also have presented the vigor and the vibrance of the youth of Tobago. And young people of Tobago, that's very important. Because if the election was about looking backwards, it would be a no contest. Because as you look back on Tobago's development, you can only look at the production and the performance of the PNM in transforming Tobago from where we were to where we are today. But it's about looking ahead. Most importantly, looking ahead. And what's the first thing you see? You will see comments from persons talking about a threat to democracy in Trinidad and Tobago. But when you don't have anything to say, as Patrick Manning would always say, you have to say something. It doesn't have to make sense, but you say something. Threat to democracy in Trinidad and Tobago. As leader of the PNM, I could point to one single decision made under my tenure, which put the lie to all of that. One, and it is that we here in Tobago and in Trinidad, we have brought our party to a position, evolved to a position where every party member has a say in casting a vote for the leadership of the organization. Foundation of democracy. We are tonight hurrying up this function because we have a curfew to observe, and we also are putting out to the world that this is the third democratic election in this country during a pandemic. Third election we're having. In Tobago, this will be your second election for the year. But you have people with nothing useful to say or anything to offer you with respect to your progress or your quality of life, telling you nonsense about threat to democracy in Trinidad and Tobago. We are the home of democracy in Trinidad and Tobago. You went to the polls in January after a campaign similar to this. The people chose. You had 12 seats. You gave the PNM 12 and you gave the others 6. We have the PNM, we always accept the outcome of elections. We don't run to the courthouse. We don't bar talk the EBC. We accept the will of the people. I came here as leader of the PNM, and I called not just the PNM, I called all those who were elected, and I explained to them what the future held. I said to you, go and see if you can work together in a 6-6 arrangement. Go and see if that can work, and if it did work out, we wouldn't be in an election now. You would have been doing what you said you could do. But there are others who laid down conditions which you couldn't accept. And of course, they didn't really want any responsibility. What they want is just to bar talk the PNM and seek personal opportunity for themselves. But the bottom line is, I told you then in January that if that did not work, we will have the possibility of going a different route. Tonight, we are here presenting candidates for an election for the second time for the year. And ladies and gentlemen, I have no doubt that the people of Tobago have been paying attention and that they will come out on the 6th of December and they will choose again. And all I can ask Tobago is to choose wisely. Choose wisely. And I think you have an excellent slogan: protect your future. Take no chance with the future of Tobago. As Prime Minister of the country of Trinidad and Tobago, I can only ask you, especially the young people, what can you look forward to from the 7th of December going forward? As head of the cabinet, as head of the government, all I can say to you, Tobago, people of Tobago, is that you can count on the government of Trinidad and Tobago, which I lead, to give Tobago every chance to be the best that you can be. I don't have a vote in Tobago, but I have a voice. And tonight, the voice is saying to you, be careful what you do on the 6th of December. Because I'm hearing about transforming and fixing. And I ask, transforming and fixing what and how? I've heard no answer. I've seen no potential. But what I do know is that if we continue to cooperate between the central government and the Tobago House of Assembly, an assembly comprised of persons who are concerned about Tobago's future and who acknowledge that progress has been made and progress is being made, then I have every confidence that from the 7th of December onward, Tobago will be going onwards and upwards as you have gone for the last 20 years. I want to remind you that we are still in a pandemic. I don't know how long it will last, but after a year and a half, we are opening up the economy. We are cautiously taking steps to reverse the hardships that we have all been facing, and you here in Tobago, because of the nature of your economy, the small size, and your dependence on government employment and tourism, and the weak agricultural sector which we have been trying to strengthen. We know that as long as we are faced with the pandemic challenges, there will be hardship here in Tobago, but as central government, we have done everything that was reasonable to ensure that Tobago's hardship was not more than anywhere else in the country, and in fact is a lot less than many areas in the country. We have always looked to see what we can do next, or in parallel, to move Tobago from where you had a problem to being in a situation where that problem was solved. What were Tobago's problems? You know why there can be not too many sensible statements being made about Tobago's problems right now? Because most of the outstanding ones that stand up in front of you have been dealt with by the PNM. Nobody can come to Tobago and make a case about the infrastructure for Tobago's health services unless they will tell you they want another hospital somewhere else in Tobago, and you will know they're not serious. Because under the PNM you have two, one at the western end, one at the eastern end. Nobody's going to come in this election campaign and tell you they want another secondary school in Tobago because you have as many as you need. Nobody can come and tell you they want another primary school in Tobago because you have as much as you need. As the leader of the Tobago Council said to you tonight, our social and sporting infrastructure is second to none in the nation because you have them there. And of course, they take 2 years telling you about the problem on the inter-island ferry between Trinidad and Tobago. I want to remind them when that was a problem, and it took 4 to 8 hours between Port of Spain and Scarborough. It was the PNM that says we could introduce a fast ferry service between these islands. And we tried it, and it worked, and today it's a fixture. And then we had 2 fast ferries, and after their useful life had come to an end, largely through poor maintenance. The problem was we had to fix that. It has been fixed. Today you have 2 of the most modern ferries anywhere in the world, cost $1 billion. The PNM makes sure you have that. I don't know if that is part of the problem that they're going to fix. Last night, I had the opportunity on my way back from Europe to pass through Barbados. In the middle of this pandemic, or as we're coming towards hopefully the end of the pandemic, Barbados Airport last night at 7 o'clock, I counted 8 jets, 2 Virgins, 2 JetBlue, and others, plus the one that I came in from KLM. Barbados Airport busy. Look around, hundreds of people on the job working, and inside the island, those planes are there for one reason, because they brought tourists to occupy the rooms in Barbados and to bring to the economy of Barbados what tourists bring to a Caribbean economy. And I have to think, imagine that we here in Tobago are a little smaller than Barbados, and we are trying to fix a Tobago problem, which is to build in Tobago on Tobago Airstrip a modern terminal building for the people of Tobago and to attract the kind of business that Barbados is living off. And you can't get support from some people in Tobago. Some people in the political arena in Tobago have an opposition to that. Opposing the building in Tobago of a terminal building, which will be the infrastructure for receiving a significant volume of tourists into Tobago. Well, our vision in the next 4 years for Tobago is to complete that and have the infrastructure which will be the impetus and the catalyst for persons to invest in Tobago, because we have a good airport terminal building and airlines will come to us because they are saying to us, no, if you don't improve what you have there, we will think about not coming back to Tobago. That's how we fix it. What else does Tobago need at this time, which will come to you in the next 4 years? Well, I can tell you, in recent years, because of the number of destructive hurricanes in the Caribbean being an area where yachting is a major industry for many Caribbean islands, we here in Tobago are in a relatively safe zone where we hardly get hurricanes. And the insurance companies notice that, and boat owners notice it, and that is why Tobago has to have a marina. And the central government is working with the Tobago House of Assembly to ensure that we build in the next 4 years a marina in Tobago, even if the government has to be a partner in it because it's part of your infrastructure. We're doing that. And of course, they tell you about unemployment in Tobago, but they never tell you how they're going to solve it or what they're going to offer as employment. They tell you also that there are too many people employed by the THA. Well, that might be a problem because the THA is not supposed to be the only and the major employer of people in Tobago. But until such time as the private sector has grown and has developed to create opportunities for people, I think you should be happy that there is a Tobago House of Assembly which has stood in the breach in the time being until better can be done. And how do we, in the next 4 years, we of the PNM, will create opportunities for that? It is to encourage more construction of hotel rooms in Tobago. Some people have a problem with that. Some people are actually boasting about the fact that they prevented the Sandals project from being introduced into Tobago. Long before we could have got to a stage of negotiating terms and conditions with Sandals, they knew it was bad for Tobago and they take credit for chasing it away. I ask you, those who are going to fix it, what are they going to offer you as opportunities for employment creation? Because even as we have lost the Sandals project, and we come now and we get the Marriott brand to come on a hotel-approved site in Tobago at Rocky Point, they are sharpening their swords to put an end to that. Today I see one of their proxies talking about Turtles Lane on Rocky Point, and therefore we can't have a hotel there. Would you believe that? Opportunity to create hotel rooms, to use the infrastructure at the airport, to create employment in Tobago, they have a problem with that. I can say to you, ladies and gentlemen of Tobago, this night, this week, this month is almost 40 years to the day that I stood on a platform as a candidate here in Tobago. So I know what I'm talking about. 40 years of experience, knowing that every time the PNM comes up with anything good for the people of Tobago, there are people in the political arena who believe that Tobagonians must be denied those opportunities so that they could prosper politically. I know that for 40 years, because I was here when we conceived and built the Claude Noel Highway. You young people will not know that there were politicians in Tobago who were opposing the construction of the Claude Noel Highway. Tonight you might ask, what madness was that? But it was the politics of the day. The same way they're opposing the airport terminal construction, the same way they're opposing the Marriott now, is the same way they had opposed the Claude Noel Highway. So, what do you learn from that? You learn that if you hear the PNM say it's good, you know it's good. You know if you hear them saying it's bad, you know it's good. Ladies and gentlemen, Tobago's future is not to be trifled with. A good relationship between the Tobago House of Assembly and the central government is your best chance in this very difficult period, because we can operate in a civilized manner, in a respectful manner, and we share the same vision for Trinidad and for Tobago. You have done your part, Island Council. You have done your part, leadership of Tobago, PNM. You have gone into your communities and you've chosen some of the best Tobagonians to encourage them to come into the political arena, bring that sense of service, bring that sense of decency, bring that sense of vision for a better Tobago, and you offer yourselves to the people of Tobago. So you've done your part. I commit the central government to do its part. And Tobago people, on December 6th, you have to do your part. It's a combination, and we all in this together. The one big thing that's outside of Tobago, which is not yet accomplished, is this question of internal self-government for Tobago. As leader of the central government, as leader of the political party, the PNM, I came from our convention, where we at a convention commit ourselves and our party to giving Tobago full internal self-government as you, the people of Tobago, wish for and continue to hanker after. We watch you here in Tobago do 2 to 3 years of consultation, coming up with all the ideas you think might go into that. But at the end of the day, documentation was produced and came, as fate would have it, to a cabinet which I led. We took it to the parliament, and at the parliament, we were in the majority in a joint select committee of the parliament. We acknowledge that we are not the only ones who are involved in that matter. The rest of the country is involved. The rest of the parliament is involved. And the closest you come to a decision making on it is the joint select committee of the parliament. And that joint select committee has the government, it has the opposition, it has the independents. And we worked on it. And as fate would have it, after your election of January 2021, after this matter was coming to the parliament by May of 2021, you had your deadlock of 6-6. And I said to you, we look at the possibility of what the parliament can do. We completed the work of the Joint Select Committee, and a lot of offerings were made to Tobago, talking about democracy be under threat, when we are coming from our parliament and offering to Tobago, at Tobago House of Assembly, with an elected portion and an appointed portion and a larger assembly, because we are committed to giving Tobago greater responsibility over its own affairs. Some people want independence. I'm not making this up. They stood on their platform and they say they want independence. They're silent on it now because it may not sell well in the election campaign, but they told you what they want. You know who they're involved with in Trinidad, who will give you independence in the morning if you want it, because you are standing in their way from the Trinidad end. But the bottom line is, we came up with a number of proposals, all of which would have advanced Tobago in a giant step forward. And what did we get from Tobago? We get from the PNM 100% support. We get from the others rejection. Having rejected it, what exactly are you willing to accept? And how are you going to get it? And of course, from their platform, they have said, if we don't get what we want, we go in. I'm not making this up. It's there on the record. You can see them on video saying it. So you wait until night come to take Bullifay to go and look for it. It might be symbolic that the Bullifay is their signal. That is the amount of light that they want in it. But we used to give you the bright light of sunshine to tell you that what has come out of the Joint Select Committee of Parliament is as good as it gets for Tobago internal self-government at this time. And that is why you can count on this government, which I lead, and the PNM, the party that I am from, to stay with that course. And we are asking Tobagoans on Monday, December 6th, to come out and vote for the PNM, if only to keep the Joint Select Committee work alive and well. And one day in the Parliament, there will be an opposition that is reasonable and is not fearful of itself and will give you what you have hankered after for all these years in the context of the parliamentary procedure which has put it there. Stay with us on that. Stay with the PNM on that. And one day you will get it once the party comes up against others in the Parliament who are serious. The reason why you are not getting it now is because the opposition in the Parliament in Trinidad is a strange character. But that will not last forever. You can imagine when you here in Tobago said in your consultation you wanted 15 seats in the Assembly. It was you who said that. You sent that to us in Trinidad in the cabinet. We took it to the Parliament. And they were saying to us, some of them actually said, we should go back to the election with the 12 seats. And of course, God forbid, we go back with the 12 seats, and you get us 6-6 again, and you would know what they will describe me as. They will think that we are all from that breed. But you said 15, and the PNM said, okay, while we can't get the other things, at least let's do this now. 15 seats, come Monday, December 6th. You have 15 seats with greater representation in your district. It brings that immediately. You get the benefit immediately of better representation because your members will now represent a smaller district. Better representation. You know what they said? They said that we rigged the election by creating 15 seats. Interestingly, today I see one of their mouthpieces saying that they're sure to win the election. So we rig it, so the PNM rig it, but you're sure to win it. But in the meantime, the same opposition that they follow to reject the internal self-government bill has taken the Election and Boundaries Commission to court. They said so in the Parliament, and they execute it in Tobago. The EBC gets pre-action protocol where they're being accused of not putting a seat up in Main Ridge. Nobody lives there. But the same way, young people, you can't comprehend how they could have objected to the Claude Noel Highway. The same way you can't comprehend that they criticized the Prime Minister for spending $1 billion on 2 ferries. It's the same way you must think now what kind of thought process go to Parliament to argue for a seat in Main Ridge and go with a map and showing a large area from Runnymede all the way up through Pigeon Peak into Charlottesville and saying, look, they put no seat here and they put 2 more in Scarborough. Nobody lives there. But you see, my grandmother taught me as a boy, show me your companion and I will tell you your character. We know exactly who your companions are. And we know exactly what companions they're keeping. And at the end of the day, it all boils down to the good people of Tobago. Speaking from Mason Hall to Castara, from Bonaccord to Speyside, all the beautiful way up on East Coast or West Coast. From Bethesda to Golden Lane, I speak for all the people of Tobago as the Prime Minister of Trinidad and Tobago with that great responsibility. In a pandemic, 2 elections in 1 year in Tobago, we're here with you. And we trust that this will settle the issue. And from the 7th of December, all of this would be water under the bridge. And we can focus our energies on the development of Tobago, the defense of its people, and the progress and opportunities for young people going forward, and the preserving the livelihood of those who are already involved in the production and the building of Tobago, wherever you are. Some people have a problem with that. If you listen to some of these people, you will wonder if any one day in any week do they ever have a good day where they could look up and say, what a beautiful day, what a beautiful place. Every day is a nya nya ra ra nya nya ra ra nya nya ra ra, as though Tobago is not enjoying some of the best quality of lives in the nation. The people of Trinidad, most of them are happy to come to Tobago and to enjoy what you enjoy in Tobago. I ask you in Tobago to enjoy it, and let's keep improving on it. Perfection is never with us in the political arena. In nation building, perfection is never there. You always keep working for and working towards, and you see change and you see progress. And if there's any place in the Caribbean where change and progress could be pointed to in the last decade, in the last generation, it is Tobago, because we are part of a larger whole and we are better as one and together. Ladies and gentlemen, I want to encourage you, Tobagonians, to take this election seriously. I want to encourage you, candidates, to go out and make yourself known to every Tobagonian in your district. Respectfully ask for their support. Explain to them the difference between what the PNM represents and what others represent. And you come back to your place knowing that the average Tobagonian can differentiate between darkness and light. The average Tobagonian can differentiate between truth and lies. And when you do that, you rest on the confidence that those Tobagonians, in the majority, will select the PNM. You know, I want to point out something to you that Tracy didn't point out. The last election, the major issue in that campaign, negative issue, that was supposed to have disqualified Tracy and the PNM, was something that was called zipline. You remember that story? Well, we are into another election. I wonder what happened to this zipline campaign. What happened to that? You see, lies will endure for a while until truth arrives. When truth arrives, lies know exactly where to go. And I will tell you something else too. But when we of the PNM endure all the negative that they throw at us, we come through shining bright, because the PNM stands for what is true, what is right, what is reasonable, what is doable, and what is good for all of us. So tonight, I'm here to give more than moral support to those of you who've offered yourself in this political arena. I'm here to encourage you that you've done a good thing, because public service is a good thing. And I want to let you know that you will succeed, because you represent the best of the political entities in Trinidad and Tobago. So go forward. In the next 4 weeks, go forward and energize Tobagoans to come to the polls, because it is at the polling station that you make your involvement known and you take a stand on what you represent and what you support. And the vast majority of Tobagoans will want to support a good opportunity for Tobago to get better. What is good, we make better. What is bad, we make good. And Tobago will continue to get more beautiful, as it says on the logo. So thank you very much for the opportunity to join you here tonight in enjoying the energy that you put forward, for convincing the world that democracy is alive and well in Tobago and Trinidad and Tobago, and that Tobagoans are prepared to grasp the nettle and lead your country, lead your island, lead your district, and not listen to those who have nothing to offer but a good old talk and a huge question mark over their heads. Go forward, PNM. And on the night of the 6th of December, I too will join you in shouting out the PNM refrain: great is the PNM, great is the PNM, great is the PNM, and we shall prevail.
Take no chance. Protect your future. On December 6th, vote PNM. Great is the PNM.